Hey everyone! Welcome back to the channel. And boy do I have a spicy topic for you today. Something that's been buzzing in my mind ever since the last World Cup whistle blew. We're talking about the 2026 FIFA World Cup. That massive spectacle coming our way. But with a twist. A really big twist. I've been thinking about whether the beautiful game, the sport we all love, might actually be overshadowed. Or even worse, manipulated by something far more complex and often divisive. Politics. Can you imagine a scenario where the fate of a team, their journey, their very participation, isn't just about skill or strategy, but about geopolitical chess moves or internal power struggles? It's a heavy thought, I know. But with the 2026 World Cup expanding to an unprecedented 48 teams and being hosted across 3 North American nations, the stakes and the potential for political entanglement have never been higher. We're not just talking about a referee's controversial call anymore. We're delving into the deep currents of international relations, national pride, and the often murky world of sports administration. So buckle up, because today, we're going on a deep dive into whether politics will indeed decide the fate of some 2026 teams. And trust me, it's a conversation you won't want to miss. I've got some theories, some observations, and a whole lot of questions that I think will really get you thinking about the future of global sports. Let's kick things off by looking at the broader geopolitical landscape. Because honestly, this is where some of the biggest concerns arise for me. We live in a world that feels increasingly fragmented, with shifting alliances and rising tensions between nations. And these global dynamics don't just disappear when the whistle blows for a football match. Imagine a situation where 2 nations with significant political animosity are drawn into the same group. Or even worse, one of them has strained relations with a host country. This isn't just about a heated rivalry on the pitch. It could lead to logistical nightmares, security challenges, or even calls for boycotts, creating an atmosphere far removed from the celebratory spirit of the World Cup. Think about the complexities of international travel and visa requirements, especially for delegations from countries that might have difficult diplomatic relationships with the United States, Canada, or Mexico. While FIFA and the host nations will undoubtedly try to streamline processes, political sensitivities can always throw a wrench into the works, potentially delaying teams or even preventing key personnel from attending. It's not a stretch to imagine a scenario where a star player or a crucial coach from a certain nation faces unexpected hurdles due to their country's political standing, which could absolutely impact their team's preparation and performance. The bureaucratic side of international relations, often seen as dry and distant, suddenly becomes very real and very immediate when it affects a team's ability to simply arrive and compete. Then there's the specter of direct government interference or pressure on national football federations, which is a tale as old as time in many parts of the world. In some countries, the national football team is seen as an extension of state power and national identity, making it a prime target for political maneuvering. I've seen countless stories where coaches are appointed or players are selected not purely on merit, but because of their connections or loyalty to certain political figures, which obviously undermines the integrity of the sport. This kind of internal political meddling can destabilize a team from within, creating divisions in the locker room and ultimately impacting their cohesion and performance on the biggest stage. Consider a scenario where a national team is under immense pressure from its government to perform in a certain way, or to make a political statement, whether subtle or overt, during the tournament. This added layer of non-sporting expectation can be a crushing burden for players, diverting their focus from the game itself and placing them in an incredibly difficult position. The mental toll of carrying not just the hopes of a nation, but also the weight of its political agenda, can be immense, potentially leading to underperformance or even internal conflicts that spill out onto the field. We've seen athletes speak out about this kind of pressure before, and it rarely ends well for team unity. Moving beyond national politics, let's talk about FIFA itself. Because let's be honest, FIFA is a political entity in its own right, a global governing body with immense power and influence. The decision to expand the World Cup to 48 teams, for example, was widely seen by many, including myself, as a politically motivated move to broaden FIFA's reach and secure more votes from smaller federations. While it promises more inclusivity and a chance for more nations to experience the World Cup dream, it also inherently changes the competitive dynamic and potentially opens new avenues for political influence. This expansion means more federations have a stake, which translates to more voices and more potential for political horse trading within the FIFA ecosystem. The qualification process for 2026, with its new allocations for each confederation, is another area where FIFA's political leanings could subtly, or not so subtly, play a role. Each confederation lobbies hard for more spots, and the eventual distribution is a delicate balance of power, influence, and historical performance, but also strategic political considerations. A slight tweak in the qualification rules or a specific seeding decision, seemingly innocuous on the surface, could have profound implications for which teams ultimately make it to the tournament, especially for those on the bubble. These decisions are made behind closed doors, often with intense lobbying from various regional blocs, making them inherently political. And what about the host nations themselves? The United States, Canada, and Mexico? They are not just providing stadiums. They are massive political entities with their own agendas, domestic issues, and international relationships. While they will undoubtedly strive for a fair and impartial tournament, the sheer scale of hosting an event across 3 countries means there are countless opportunities for logistical decisions to become politically charged. Think about travel distances between host cities, security protocols, or even the allocation of training facilities, all of which could potentially be influenced by local politics or national priorities, intentionally or unintentionally creating advantages or disadvantages for certain teams. For instance, a team from a politically sensitive region might find themselves assigned to a host city with a particularly strong diaspora from a rival nation, creating an intense and potentially volatile atmosphere for their matches. Or perhaps, due to logistical or security concerns, certain teams might face more stringent travel restrictions or scrutiny, impacting their comfort and preparation compared to others. These aren't necessarily malicious acts, but rather the complex realities of managing an event of this magnitude within diverse political landscapes. And the cumulative effect could definitely play a part in a team's overall experience and performance. It's about navigating a maze of regulations and local sentiments that goes far beyond just showing up and playing. Let's also consider the role of refereeing and VAR. Because even with all the technology, human interpretation and potential biases can never be fully eliminated. And these can easily be perceived through a political lens. In high-stakes matches, a controversial call, or even a series of calls, can spark outrage and lead to accusations of favoritism or bias. especially if it benefits a team from a politically powerful nation or a host country. While we hope for pure sporting integrity, the emotional intensity of the World Cup often means that fans and even pundits will quickly attribute questionable decisions to something more nefarious, often linking it back to perceived political influence. The sheer pressure on referees in these moments is immense, and they are not immune to the broader atmosphere of the tournament, which can be heavily influenced by political narratives. Imagine a situation where a host nation team receives a borderline VAR decision in their favor in a crucial knockout match. The ensuing debate would inevitably be tinged with accusations of political protection or home field advantage being pushed too far. This kind of perception, whether true or not, can deeply impact the narrative of the tournament and how certain teams are viewed, potentially affecting morale and public sentiment. It's a slippery slope where sporting outcomes can be easily politicized. And what about the teams themselves? The players and coaches who are simply trying to play the game they love. They often become unwitting pawns in these larger political games, forced to navigate questions and situations that have nothing to do with football. Imagine a player being asked about a diplomatic incident between their country and another, or being pressured to make a statement on a controversial social issue, right before a crucial match. This kind of external pressure can be incredibly distracting and emotionally draining, pulling their focus away from tactical preparations and mental readiness. The mental and emotional toll of constantly being under scrutiny, not just for their athletic performance but also for their perceived political alignment or national representation, can be immense. It can create an environment where players feel they have to censor themselves, or conversely, feel compelled to speak out, both of which add an extra layer of stress that their opponents might not be facing. This isn't just about physical fitness anymore. It's about mental fortitude in the face of relentless political noise. And how well a team can insulate itself from these external pressures will be a significant factor in their success. It's a whole new dimension of competition that goes beyond the pitch. We also have to talk about the media, because the media plays a huge role in shaping narratives and amplifying political angles around major sporting events. A single headline, a provocative interview, or a carefully crafted news segment can quickly turn a sporting rivalry into a geopolitical showdown, fueling tensions and adding pressure to the teams involved. The desire for clicks and views often means that political controversies are given significant airtime, sometimes overshadowing the actual football and creating an environment where every action is scrutinized for its political undertones. The way certain teams or players are portrayed in the media, especially by outlets from rival nations or those with specific political leanings, can significantly impact public perception and even influence the atmosphere within the stadiums. Imagine a team being consistently painted as the villains due to their country's political actions, leading to hostile crowd reactions and an overall negative experience for their players. This media-driven narrative can become a self-fulfilling prophecy, creating a politically charged environment that directly impacts how a team performs and how they are received by the global audience. It's a powerful tool that can be used for good or for ill. Let's not forget the financial and commercial aspects, which are deeply intertwined with politics in the modern sporting world. Major sponsors and broadcasters have immense influence, and their decisions are often guided not just by market economics, but also by political considerations and public sentiment. A sponsor might withdraw support from a team or a tournament if it becomes too politically controversial, or conversely, they might strategically align with certain nations or narratives to enhance their brand image. These commercial pressures can subtly or not so subtly, influence decisions made by FIFA and national federations, adding another layer to the political game. The economic power of certain nations within the footballing world also gives them a political leverage that smaller nations simply don't possess. Wealthier federations can afford better training facilities, top-tier coaching staff, and extensive youth development programs, but their influence extends beyond the pitch. They often have more sway within FIFA, more lobbying power, and a louder voice in discussions about tournament formats, rules, and even host city selections. This disparity in economic and political power can create an uneven playing field, where the fate of smaller teams might be indirectly decided by the political machinations of the giants. Looking back at past World Cups, we've seen countless examples of political statements, protests, and controversies surrounding the tournament. From human rights issues in host nations to players making symbolic gestures on the field. The 2026 World Cup, with its global reach and expanded format, is almost guaranteed to be a platform for similar expressions, and how these are handled will be crucial. Will FIFA take a firm stance against political demonstrations? Or will they allow a certain degree of freedom of expression, potentially opening a Pandora's box of political statements that could overshadow the sport? The decisions made by FIFA and the host nations regarding these issues will have direct consequences for the teams involved. If a player or a team makes a political statement that is deemed inappropriate, what will be the repercussions? Will they face fines, suspensions, or even expulsion from the tournament? These are not just hypothetical questions. They are real dilemmas that could directly impact a team's ability to continue in the competition, making their fate literally dependent on political rules and interpretations. It's a tightrope walk for everyone involved, trying to balance free expression with the neutrality of sport. So, when I ask, will politics decide the fate of some 2026 teams? Quote, I'm not just talking about a single incident or a minor controversy. I'm talking about a confluence of factors. Geopolitical tensions, internal federation politics, FIFA's own power plays, host nation influence, media narratives, and the immense pressure on players. Each of these elements, individually or collectively, has the potential to significantly alter a team's trajectory in the tournament, sometimes in ways that have nothing to do with their performance on the pitch. It's a complex web where the lines between sport and politics become incredibly blurred. The expanded format, while exciting for many, also means more teams from diverse political backgrounds will be participating, increasing the probability of these kinds of clashes and challenges. More nations mean more potential points of friction, more differing viewpoints, and more opportunities for political issues to surface. It's a statistical reality that with 48 teams, the chances of a politically charged encounter, either